Oh, hello! Did you just finish My Hero Academia Season 5? If so, let's dig into it. Hey everyone, hope you've had a great week, and after finishing Tokyo Revengers, I had to finish binge watching My Hero Academia Season 5, so I could get the video out just in time for the season finale. I've made videos in the past talking about My Hero Academia, but this video is going to be a little different because I'm going to be talking about the season entirely in a single video. And I'll be doing that going forward, so every season that goes by, whether it's My Hero Academia or any other season that I'm interested in, I'll be doing a video recapping the whole thing. And with My Hero Academia, there's a lot to discuss just in this season alone, so let's get into it.
Thought you only had small feathers left after that battle.
The 25 episode season was essentially broken up into 3 arcs, and the first arc was having Class 1A take on Class 1B in groups to see who would win and take the points, and to see how everyone has progressed so far. I'm not going to get into every single group fight, but instead focus on some key moments. I'm a huge fan of Tokoyami and think his Dark Shadow technique is visually awesome and has a ton of potential to become one of the most powerful heroes in Class 1A. He spends time with Hawk, who is currently ranked the number 2 hero, and Hawk immediately noticed something that Tokoyami was not utilizing, and that was the ability to fly. We get to witness Tokoyami unleash his new ability, and he can wrap himself in Dark Shadow, allowing him to move around freely while flying.
Dark Shadow! Dark Fallen Angel!
This just adds to his insane arsenal of abilities, where he can really become a tank covering himself in Dark Shadow, and it also becoming an extension of him, or even using it on the offense and utilizing it as a ranged attack. Once he masters flying, he's going to be incredibly versatile and incredibly powerful. Now let's talk about Bakugo. I'm not gonna lie, I was constantly laughing my ass off. Bakugo just has this insane stubbornness about him, but he is also incredibly confident. He does back his shit talking though, since he is probably the best ranked number 1 person in Class 1A right now. You think during his mission with his team he's gonna go the solo route, but instead you finally see a change in him as he makes a plan with the team to back each other up. He does say, "When you're in trouble, I will come and help you. When I'm in trouble, you come and help me." Now this seems pretty basic level stuff, but for a guy like Bakugo, this is incredible progression. Sure enough, they wipe the floor and take the win, and Bakugo is looking stronger than ever. I'm also liking the more friendly rivalry between Bakugo and Midoriya. He's always egging him on, but you can tell it's in his own way. That's just how he shows his feelings, and he's just wanting Midoriya to also get stronger.
Huh. I'm moving so fast you won't be able to catch up. Yes, I will.
Now, speaking of Midoriya, let's focus on him for a minute, because he is the main character after all, and we have some new interesting development with One For All and his quirk. Midoriya learns that he has the ability to unleash the past quirk users of All For One, and he can unlock them and use them. He first unlocks the quirk Black Whip, which he didn't quite understand at first, but the original user speaks to him within the power of All For One, explaining how the quirk works, and that he can unlock the other users as well. It was interesting to see because All Might was unable to tap into the power of any of the other previous All For One users, so this left them both kind of confused. The ability is incredibly useful. He can essentially unlock these black whips and shoot them out of his hands, where he can use it as a rope or to grab hold of things or tie someone up. The possibilities are pretty much endless with a power like that, but we can get into that a bit more in a moment. Next, I want to talk about Shoto. This season does spend a lot of time on him and his relationship with his dad, which you all know is the current number 1 hero, Endeavor. How do I describe Shoto? Well, he's simply just cool. His hairstyle being half white and half red, with the scar under his eye, which you later learn was caused by his mother throwing hot water on his face. This is where we get to go down Shoto's tragic story, and it's essentially all his father's fault. We will elaborate this in just a moment, but Shoto and his team during the training arc do end up losing, and Shoto realizes he needs to start relying on his firepower more, and needs more training with it. This is why we connect to him in the next arc with Endeavor. We get to see Shoto work on his new technique that he calls Flash Freeze Heat Wave, and it's essentially cooling the air around him with his ice powers, then immediately switching to his fire powers and the heat expands the air around him, causing a superheated blast attack. Shoto is finally coming to terms with using his fire abilities, which he was trying to avoid because those are powers he inherited from his dad, so I think it's pretty obvious why he didn't want to use them. Though he now realizes if he wants to be among the top heroes with Bakugo and Midoriya, he's going to have to use 100% of his abilities as he's been holding himself back. This is where Shoto decides to train under Endeavor, and he brings along Midoriya and Bakugo as he feels the three of them would be able to level up the most under his wing.
Look at shifting your schedules. In addition to our weekends, I want you all working 2 days during the school week.
We get to learn more about Shoto and his family's past. Endeavor only really cared about himself and would abuse Shoto, forcing him to train and get stronger, neglecting his feelings altogether. His mother had a mental breakdown, which is what caused the scar to begin with on his face, and now she resides in a facility looking after her. So needless to say, Shoto and his family have a lot of resentment towards Endeavor. But Endeavor is trying to make peace with his family and realizes the mistakes he's made, and he's slowly trying to mend his family and bring everyone back together. Endeavor notices the weaknesses in Shoto, Bakugo, and Midoriya and easily communicates to them how to improve and get better by focusing on one thing to improve, and they have to do this while trying to keep up with Endeavor, and it's a reality check when they realize just how outclassed they are next to someone like Endeavor. I really like this next part because throughout the season, Hawk has been a double agent working under another group called the Liberation Army, who have over 100,000 soldiers across Japan and have mostly been underground this entire time. Hawk was desperately trying to get this information to Endeavor so they can start preparing. Now, we will cover more of that in the next section, but we do get to spend a bit more time with Shoto and his family, and of course they have many problems to overcome, but Shoto's brother gets kidnapped. Endeavor, Shoto, Bakugo, and Midoriya help Endeavor save him. This brings Shoto's family a little closer together, but we also get to witness all three of them level up their weakness only after a week of being with Endeavor. So now we can see Midoriya using Black Whip more proficiently, while Bakugo and Shoto both leveled up as well, showing their training with Endeavor was worth it.
I know you were afraid and in intense pain. You ran and ran, looking for someone to help. No child should have to endure that.
I thought this was a really cool twist when you saw the next opening and saw it got changed to My Villain Academia. The next several episodes were completely dedicated to the villains, and we focus on the League of Villains. As we already know, another shadow group has been emerging called the Liberation Army, and this group is no joke, with 100,000 members across Japan. Hawk has been a double agent working for them and trying to pass on the information to Endeavor to prepare for the inevitable war that is going to unleash across Japan. So we get to spend some time with Toga, and she has this incredible episode that really fleshes her story out, which helps you find some empathy for her in a weird and twisted kind of way. But not only that, we also get to see her finally level up. As you know, her ability lets her transform into another person, but that was about the extent of her quirk. But now, when she copies the other person, she also can now utilize their quirk too, which is one hell of an upgrade, and I would say that now puts her at an A or even possibly S rank level villain.
I want to become more like those I love!
I do see a lot of people online talking about Toga, so let me know in the comments if Toga is one of your favorite characters, and let me know why. The League of Villains start working with Daruma, who will be their scientist and was working for All For One, but before he does, he wants the League of Villains to level up because he doesn't feel they are worthy of his skills just yet. So the Liberation Army took one of the League's associates, Giren, and it's Shigaraki decides he's going to infiltrate the Liberation Army, and this leads to, I think, the coolest episodes we get in the entire season. Shigaraki and Re-Destro have an all-out battle, but while this happens, we get flashbacks of his backstory, and wow, it's truly up. To sum it up, his dad treated him like shit, but eventually he's in the backyard with his little sister, and his powers finally manifested without him knowing it. So when he touches his sister, she literally dissolved right in front of him, which is the trigger point to driving him mad. Though it didn't end there, he then straight up murders his dad, mom, and everyone else in his family, while also taking down the house he grew up in. So as he's fighting Re-Destro, this is when we finally get to watch Tamura finally level up, and holy crap, did he ever level up, because his power and abilities are off the charts now with what he can do. He almost murders Re-Destro, but he cuts his own legs off to prevent the decay from spreading and then surrenders himself to Tomura. This now makes Shigaraki the leader of the Liberation Army and fusing his organization with theirs. So now the League of Villains are no joke and are an absolute threat to everyone. And on top of that, they all became so much stronger. I also want to point out, I think his hair becoming white was a cool design choice and I'm digging it.
Alright, it's because you made us come out here.
Overall, I liked how they broke up the season into arcs, but I also liked how we got dedicated episodes to focus on the villains too. This is not something we often get to see in a series, which helps blur the line a little bit, making you kind of cheer for both sides in some ways, which then just makes a much more compelling story when the heroes and villains finally cross. I'm really excited to see where things go from here, but now we have to wait for season 6, which feels like it's going to take forever. Luckily, the movie World Heroes Mission drops in North America on October 29th, so we don't have to wait too long for some extra My Hero Academia content. I'm also curious to know what will be happening with Eraserhead's friend. We do find out that Kurogiri's real identity belongs to Oboru, who was Aizawa and Yamada's friend, and the three of them were the next big three. So I really want to get further development on that storyline and where this is going for Eraserhead and what the possibility he'll be doing to try to save Oboru. So I want to know, what did you think about the season and which arc did you find the most interesting? And did your favorite character get some time to shine? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this, consider subscribing, hit that like button, and click the bell to be notified when I drop my next video. That's it for this one. See you in the next video.